Tariffs have been a contentious topic in economic discussions, primarily due to their potential impact on consumers. However, the broader strategy behind these tariffs is frequently misunderstood. While critics argue that tariffs only increase costs for U.S. consumers on imports, the long-term goals of encouraging domestic manufacturing, boosting productivity, and strengthening the U.S. economy are often overlooked. Economists and the media have been quick to condemn the president's tariff policies without fully understanding the strategic negotiations, conversations, and alternative initiatives that underpin them. The dual impact of tariff increases raise the cost of imports, discouraging reliance on foreign goods while encouraging the consumption of made in the USA products. For exporters to the U.S., losing access to such a massive market is a significant risk. Over time, this dynamic can lead to fairer, reciprocal trade agreements, which may eventually lower prices as foreign competitors strive to remain competitive in the U.S. market. However, for products and services that the U.S. must import, the additional costs are often passed directly to consumers, leading to higher prices for everyday household items. The good news is that many of these everyday items can be, and have been, manufactured, produced, and made in the United States. In recent decades, American companies have largely moved their manufacturing operations overseas to take advantage of lower labor costs, maximizing profits at the expense of domestic job creation. Tariffs create an incentive for these companies to reconsider their strategies. If they choose to continue exporting to the U.S., they will face higher taxes. However, if they decide to re-establish operations within the United States, they can avoid tariffs and benefit from reduced tax rates. Encouraging domestic production and economic resilience. The primary goal of tariffs is to incentivize domestic production and reduce reliance on foreign imports. This shift aims to create a more self-sufficient and resilient U.S. economy while providing a competitive advantage for domestic producers. By encouraging businesses, both large and small, to invest in the U.S., tariffs can stimulate job creation, reduce unemployment, fuel economic growth, establish new industries, and increase overall spending and economic activity. The U.S. market is one of the largest consumer markets in the world. If imports become less attractive due to tariffs, companies are more likely to establish or expand production facilities within the United States to tap into this massive market. This not only benefits the economy but also strengthens national security by reducing dependence on foreign supply chains. Economists' misunderstanding of strategic negotiations. Many economists argue that tariffs disrupt global trade and supply chains, harming the economy. However, they often fail to acknowledge the strategic leverage that access to the U.S. consumer market provides. As one of the largest markets in the world, the U.S. holds significant bargaining power in trade negotiations. The president's approach is not simply about imposing tariffs. It is about using them as a tool to secure better trade deals, protect domestic industries from external abuse or domination, and even reserve certain business activities exclusively for U.S. citizens. By leveraging tariffs, the U.S. can prompt foreign companies, and American companies operating abroad, to invest in domestic production facilities. This not only secures more favorable trade terms for the United States but also encourages large-scale investments in working capital, creating a healthier and more competitive market. Short-term disruptions versus long-term gains. Critics argue that tariffs may backfire, causing temporary market uncertainty and negative effects as businesses and consumers adapt to the changes. While short-term disruptions are possible, they are often a natural response to economic adjustments. Over time, these disruptions can be stabilized by ramping up domestic production, negotiating new trade agreements, and fostering overall economic growth. Tariffs, when implemented as part of a broader strategy, can strengthen domestic industries and ultimately benefit the economy on a massive scale. The misplaced focus on consumer prices. Focusing solely on the immediate impact of tariffs on consumer prices fails to recognize the importance of domestic production, job creation, and investment. Imports should be an option, not an absolute necessity. By shifting production to the United States, citizens can actively participate in and benefit from the American marketplace. This shift provides access to a large production and consumer base, a skilled workforce, and reduced costs of living over time. Media confusion and political opposition. The media has played a significant role in confusing the public about the president's tariff strategy. By creating a narrative that undermines the president's efforts, the media has fueled opposition from political opponents who seek to deter efficiency, success, and accountability. This opposition often stems from a desire to hide their own failures and incompetence, rather than engaging in constructive dialogue about the long-term benefits of tariffs. Brilliant presidential strategic vision for economic growth. While tariffs may lead to short-term costs for consumers, their long-term benefits for the U.S. economy cannot be ignored. By encouraging domestic manufacturing, creating jobs, and reducing reliance on foreign imports, tariffs are part of a broader strategy to strengthen the U.S. economy and ensure its long-term prosperity. The president's approach is rooted in strategic negotiations and a vision for economic growth, even if it is misunderstood by economists and misrepresented by the media. The key to success lies in understanding the bigger picture. Tariffs are not just about raising prices. They are about creating a more self-sufficient, resilient, and prosperous United States. As the strategy unfolds, the temporary uncertainties will give way to long-term gains, benefiting the economy and the American people.